A pickle, wearing a pirate hat, sailed the Soda Sea on a licorice ship. He was looking for kids who weren't like the other kids to help him find the fabled gummy treasure before the chocolate kraken got there first. But so far, he hadn't found any kids who wanted to go on an adventure with him. One day, he saw a kid sitting on a rock by the sea, and the kid wasn't crying, wasn't throwing tantrums, and wasn't begging for attention. So the captain went over and asked him if he wanted to join his crew. "No thanks," said the kid. "I'm waiting for my dad to come back from his fishing trip." The captain said, "Don't you want to go on an exciting adventure and find some treasure?" The kid said, "Not really. I have all the treasure I need." Then he opened his shirt to show the captain the gold tooth that hung around his neck. "See, my dad is going to take me out on his boat when I'm older, and we are going to go find sunken treasure ships and stuff." Captain Fizzy was disappointed, but it was no use. This kid was more interested in teeth than treasure. So he set sail and continued his search. Soon he spotted another kid, and she didn't look like the other kids. She had bright green hair, wore mismatched shoes, and instead of playing hopscotch, she was drawing pictures in the sand. So the captain went over and asked her if she wanted to join his crew. "No thanks," said the girl. "I'm waiting for my mom to finish up her business." The captain said, "Don't you want to go on an exciting adventure and find some treasure?" The girl said, "Not really. I have all the treasure I need." Then she showed the captain the shell necklace she was wearing. "See, my mom collects really pretty shells, and I put them into jewelry to sell at the market." Captain Fizzy was disappointed, but it was no use. This kid was more interested in shells than treasure. So he set sail and continued his search. He sailed past the giant lollipop forest, over the marshmallow mountains, and through the chocolate rivers until he reached the caramel archipelago. And there he met a boy who looked even less like the other kids than the others. He had bright blue hair, wore clothes made out of leaves, and instead of skipping rope, he was climbing a tree. So the captain went over and asked him if he wanted to join his crew. "Nope," said the boy. "I'm busy being the king of the monkeys." The captain said, "Don't you want to go on an exciting adventure and find some treasure?" The boy said, "Not really. I already have all the treasure I need." Then he opened his loincloth to show the captain the shiny pebbles he had hidden inside. "See, when I rule the monkey kingdom, I'm going to use these pebbles as currency. I'm going to be rich, powerful, and famous." Captain Fizzy was so frustrated now, he just wanted to throw in the towel and head home. But then the boy said something that made him stop. "Wait, you want treasure? I know where there's some. Follow me." Captain Fizzy followed the boy through the caramel archipelago, and finally they arrived at a small island that looked like a giant piece of candy corn. And hiding behind the candy corn was a cave that sparkled with all the treasure Captain Fizzy had been looking for. He couldn't believe it. All this time he'd been looking in the wrong places. The whole time the treasure was right here. He turned to thank the boy, but he had disappeared. Then suddenly, the boy appeared in front of Captain Fizzy and said, "So, do you still want to go on an exciting adventure and find some treasure?" Captain Fizzy realized that this boy was different, very different. But that's what made him the perfect crew member. Different people have different skills and talents, and together they can accomplish amazing things. Captain Fizzy smiled and said, "You bet." Together, they set sail to find more crew members so they could explore the rest of the archipelago. First, They stopped at a giant gingerbread house. A gingerbread man opened the door and said, "Welcome to my humble abode. How may I help you?" Captain Fizzy said, "Do you want to join my crew?" The gingerbread man looked at the pickle and said, "Are you crazy? You're a pickle. What do you know about sailing the seas or finding treasure?" Then he started laughing. "Oh man, that's good. That's good. Keep going." Captain Fizzy felt bad because this guy had no idea how great he was gonna be on the crew. But then the boy said, "Hey, gingerbread man, we could use a guy like you on our crew. We need somebody to keep us fueled up on snacks while we search for treasure. And you seem like the guy for the job." The gingerbread man thought about it for a second. "Well, yeah, that does sound kind of fun. Okay, let's do it." Next, they visited a group of gumdrop trees and a lollipop waterfall. There were gumballs everywhere, bouncing around and having snowball fights. Captain Fizzy shouted, "Hey gumballs, do you want to join my crew?" The gumballs stopped their game and stared at the pickle. One of them said, "What are you gonna do, pickle? Throw a spiky ball at us?" Another one said, "Yeah, I don't think so." Then they all started laughing. Again, Captain Fizzy felt bad because these guys had no idea how awesome they were gonna be on the crew. But then the boy said, "Hey gumballs, we could use some tough guys like you on our crew. We need some muscle to help us fight off the chocolate kraken. And you guys seem like the crew for the job." The gumballs thought about it for a second. "Well, yeah, that does sound kind of fun. Okay, let's do it." They traveled onto a licorice lagoon, where they met a family of mermaids. The mermaids had beautiful flowing hair, glittery tails, and faces full of makeup. Captain Fizzy said, "Hey mermaids, do you want to join my crew?" The mermaids stopped applying their makeup and stared at the pickle. One of them said, "What are you gonna do, pickle? Drown us?" Another one said, "Yeah, I don't think so." Then they all started laughing again. Captain Fizzy felt bad because these guys had no idea how great they were going to be on the crew. But then the boy said, "Hey mermaids, we could use some pretty girls on our crew. We need some backup for the lookout duty, and you guys would be perfect for the job." The mermaids thought about it for a second. "Well, yeah, that does sound kind of fun. Okay, let's do it." Finally, they arrived at the Gummy Treasure Island. The treasure consisted of millions of gummy worms, gummy bears, and gummy fish. It was more treasure than anyone could ever hope to find. But as they started to load up the treasure, a giant chocolate tentacle smashed down on the beach and knocked over all the gummy fish. The chocolate kraken had arrived, but luckily, Captain Fizzy and his crew were ready for him. The Gumball Squad used their super strength to hold back the chocolate kraken's tentacles. The mermaids distracted him with their beauty. The gingerbread man threw bags of gumdrops at him, and as the chocolate kraken became weaker and weaker, the boy walked up to him and said, "Listen, old man, I know you've been through a lot of pain and suffering, but you don't have to be mean to everyone else. I forgive you." Then he offered the chocolate kraken a bag of gummy bears. The chocolate kraken took the gummy bears, ate them, and smiled. "Wow, thanks, kid. I feel a lot better now. In fact, I feel so much better that I'm going to go ahead and join your crew." Together, Captain Fizzy and his new crew explored the rest of the archipelago, looking for new adventures and having a great time doing it. Thanks for coming along with us on this wild and wacky adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Good night, little one.